Okay, I love Wisp and all, but man, do I really hate him sometimes. He's probably one of the most frustrating special characters in New Horizons because of the rewards, or lack thereof, that he presents you with. Wisp first appeared as a new addition to Animal Forest Plus in Japan and was also included when the game was localized outside of Japan as Animal Crossing. In the original Animal Crossing, the player had to capture 5 spirits and return them to Wisp, so he's been having these problems for like 20 years now. Fix yourself, make some life changes. Rewards for completing his missions were removing all of the weeds in town, gifting a random item not yet in the player's catalog, or recoloring the player's roof. Although Wisp was absent in Wild World, the developers threw him into City Folk, which is basically just Wild World 2.0 anyway. This time the player would find an empty genie lamp instead of spirits. The rewards were similar, except the roof color option was replaced with ridding cockroaches from the player's house. The items that Wisp gave were again something the player did not have in their catalog, but usually wasn't anything rare. In New Leaf, Wisp was a later addition to the game. He appeared with the Welcome Amiibo update and thus required Amiibo to be functional. So has Wisp's role evolved at all? Nope. In New Horizons, Wisp will appear somewhere on your island randomly about once a week. There are a couple sources that state he can show up multiple times a week. I haven't been able to confirm this myself, but it doesn't mean it's out of the question. I've only ever had one real piece of art show up in Red's pollution boat, so my luck for things like that is non-existent. Wisp does appear between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. Again, varying information on the lovely internets, but as seen here and here, these hours worked for me. When you interact with Wisp, he'll get scared thinking you're a ghost. He'll freak himself out so much that he explodes into multiple pieces that scatter around the island. I mean, I think we've all been there once or twice in life, yeah? If you haven't had your mind explode from scaring yourself, then you haven't lived. A cool little detail with Wisp, he doesn't even notice you when you walk by. Most of the NPCs will lock onto you for like a second or two. Wisp just looks right through you. He won't even react back like the other NPCs do when you perform any kind of reaction. Once you scare him to death, however, then he recognizes your presence. I feel like there's a deeper meaning here. Like you're nothing to him until you threaten him. Some weird psychological factor that I don't really want to look too deep into. After scaring the living daylights out of him, his spirit will scatter into 5 different pieces. It's your job to run around the island and find all 5 before 5 a.m. hits. It doesn't take too long to find them, but these little spirits freaking move. So if you're having trouble finding one, retrace your steps. He's probably randomly falling behind you, hiding behind trees, demonically laughing. Somewhere in the mini guides I checked over, one mentioned that you don't need a ladder or a pole vault to complete the mission. As I already have bridges, ramps, and access to all the tools required to navigate my entire island, I couldn't test this theory, but it makes sense. The developers would be horrible to tease you with a Wisp spirit on the other side of the river without a bridge or a pole to let you complete it. So if you don't have access to these items yet, you should still be good to go. Once you start the mission by talking to Wisp, you must complete the quest before saving and quitting. If you quit in the middle of it, you have to find Wisp again and redo the entire thing. Even if you have collected all the spirits, they'll be gone from your inventory when you load back in. So, don't do that. Once you take the time to find his spirits, he'll take them from you with this really cool shiny animation and offer you a reward. Your reward will be either clothing or furniture, and he asks you if you want something new or expensive. He'll tell you which category of item he's going to give you before he lets you pick between the newer, expensive options. This is why I hate Wisp. If you pick something new, he'll give you something that you don't have in your catalog, or at least that's been true every time I've done it. The expensive one, on the other hand, my god, you ask for something expensive and he's just like, well, I don't know how much this costs, but here's some fishing waders. There is a slight chance you will receive something expensive. I have yet to, but some guides accepted viewer submissions. And there was one person who got a throwback rocket, which can be bought for 5,900 bells, so I guess it depends on what your definition of expensive is, but fishing waders, definitely not that for me. My suggestion is to stick with something new. At least that way you'll make some kind of progress towards completing your catalog and not just get repeats of inexpensive items. Have you gotten anything expensive from Wisp? Think so, it didn't happen. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!